In 2025, the explorers are starting to see a little bit more attention. There's some great stories out there, but developers are getting more attention. Producers are getting more attention. You can't ignore the strong gold price and solid returns by these producing companies. So, what investors are looking for is risk off. So, permitting timelines, quick path to cash flow, that development space of project timelines where they're actually going to be earning a profit and producing the asset that they're after. That is why ES Gold is so exciting to me, is we are fully permitted. We are very close to production. We have a mill on site. We have tailings piles that are ready to be processed. And we just have a few more steps to get there, start producing, be cash flow positive, and then funnel that money into exploration where we don't need to go to the market with our hand out. This is not the dilution model that so many other exploration companies have been doing over the past 30, 40 years that have scared that retail investor away, is risk off in a very risky industry.
Welcome to another episode of the Exploring Mining Podcast. Today is an episode you don't want to miss. We are talking again with ES Gold and some new exciting news that has just come out today. ES Gold just named Gordon Robb as their new CEO, making a pivotal moment for the company as it charges towards production. Gordon joins ES Gold after a standout tenure as business development and IR manager for Scottie Resources, where he drove shareholder engagement and strategic capital raises for their 58,500 hectare portfolio in British Columbia's Golden Triangle, including the high-grade Scottie Gold Mine and Georgia project. With a bachelor's in finance, regulatory certifications, and over a decade of capital markets experience, Gordon's knack for building investor confidence and market presence makes him an ideal leader for ES Gold's vision forward. And the excitement doesn't stop there. This week, we also saw ES Gold announce a major milestone in the Montauban project, again, just 80 kilometers west of Quebec City. The company is doubling its mine building footprint to a 4,000 square foot facility, a bold move to support its transition into active gold and silver production. This expanded facility will house crew accommodations, control rooms, a secure lab for concentrate testing, and a gold room for dory bar storage. Setting the stage for operational excellence with railbed pre-concentrate samples already shipped and testing, PEA is on the horizon and ambient noise tomography results expected soon. ES Gold is laying the groundwork for scalable, sustainable growth. With Gordon Robb's leadership, ES Gold is poised to redefine responsible mining and unlock the full potential of Montauban. Stay tuned as we explore this thrilling new chapter and what it means for investors and the industry. For disclosure purposes, our site does not make recommendations for purchases or sale of stocks, services, or products. Nothing on our site or this podcast should be construed as an offer or solicitation to buy or sell products or securities. All investing involves risk and possible losses. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. For disclosure purposes, this podcast is a paid-for advertisement on the Investor Ideas website. Please read all disclaimers and disclosures at the end of the show. Gordon, thanks so much for joining the show today. For listeners and investors that might not know your history and background at Scottie Resources, can you just give us a quick briefing on how you started in mining?
Oh, thanks very much for having me, Callie. How I got involved in mining is an interesting story. My background originally was in fixed income. I worked in Toronto. I did a stint in Hong Kong and a very small stint in Calgary. After moving back to Vancouver Island, I was introduced to Brad Rourke, and we started talking interest rates, gold markets, and what I was doing next. And he asked if I could hop on to help with business development and investor relations. Scottie was at an interesting transition period as they started to bring on more investors and institutional money, and they needed someone front facing for that initiative.
Let's actually talk about the most exciting news for the week, that you are now transitioning to CEO of ES Gold. Talk to us about how you came to find out about that opportunity and why you decided that that is your next step.
I'm very excited about joining ES Gold. I was introduced to certain members of the team earlier this year. We had more conversations about what ES Gold was planning on doing, the market in general, and it seemed like a very good fit at the time, and still does. It's innovative story, the fact that we're not just exploring first and going down the same path that most exploration companies do, is move into production quickly and first generate cash flow, then use that money to go back and explore. Is the last 4 years I've been doing this, the consistent theme of raising money, drilling holes, hoping the market recognizes it for an increased market cap to continue to do it again has seemed very repetitive. So this new approach has been very exciting, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing.
Can you talk to us a little bit of obviously a lot of your skills that you learned at Scottie, and then as you mentioned that you have some background in the financial space as well. What do you think are like some of your top talents that you're bringing to the ES Gold team to up level the whole story as it progresses?
I was very fortunate to work with Scottie Resources and CEO Brad Rourke. I had a tremendous learning opportunity working with Brad, who was an investor first. He was an investor in Scottie Resources, saw how money was being spent, and ended up taking the company over in a hostile takeover bid. So to see a company run by an investor, uh, worried about dilution, making sure that shareholders were put first consistently, is something I'm very fortunate to have learned from a CEO. It's a skill I plan on taking forward with ES Gold. My background in finance is I've worked in high pressure environments. I was a bond trader for 7 years between Toronto doing Canadian rates and then Hong Kong doing Yankee bonds, so US dollar denominated Asian credit, as well as sovereign CDS. So I work well in high pressure environments, working with institutional investors in that front facing role. And moving on to ES Gold is that management side of putting the right people in place. Is with Scottie Resources, I had the tremendous opportunity of really getting ingrained in the mining industry and the mining network, and being able to leverage that network to put the right people in place to take ES Gold to the next level. I'm very much looking forward to.
You have that financial background. I feel like you probably made the right move switching from bonds into gold, especially this year. But what are you seeing as far as your macro market, because you do have some of that expertise of what are you forecasting for the junior mining and gold market? Obviously, we all feel a little excited at the current moment.
It's, gold is a very exciting place to be. It's we've seen the last few years, especially the instability in the world. We've seen a high interest rate environment and fights about trying to lower interest rates. Is gold and interest rates have a negative correlation. From this time last year, the US overnight was 5.5%. It's down to 4.5% now. And in that time, gold is up almost $1,000. As inflation continues to cool, if it does, and interest rates are pushed back down for economic growth, is we're going to see gold continue to rise. Is it's the original safe haven currency, still holds true today. And with government spending out of control, more people are reverting back to gold. You're seeing it with the most central bank buying in recent history, and BRICS taking a bigger lead with competing with the US dollar. Is everywhere you look in the macro news right now, it's a stronger and stronger bull case for gold.
Since you have the background in investor relations, we all know what that involves. I'd love to hear because you again have that, deep-rooted understanding of what investors are looking for in the junior mining space, and especially with Scottie Resources, that's done extremely well over the last few years, considering the markets. What are some of the things that you've heard from investors that you feel are important, that their ideas of when they're looking for the right junior mining stock, or what are some of the things that are you find have been the number one criteria that people have asked you over the couple of years?
It's a very good question, right? We've heard a lot of complaints around how the retail markets left the space and gold equities are suffering, and they have been. Is interest rates are high and speculative plays are not favored among retail investors right now. In 2025, the explorers are starting to see a little bit more attention. There's some great stories out there, but developers are getting more attention. Producers are getting more attention. You can't ignore the strong gold price and solid returns by these producing companies. So what investors are looking for is risk off. So permitting timelines, quick path to cash flow, that development space of project timelines where they're actually going to be earning a profit and producing the asset that they're after. That is why ES Gold is so exciting to me, is we are fully permitted. We are very close to production. We have a mill on site. We have tailings piles that are ready to be processed. And we just have a few more steps to get there, start producing, be cash flow positive, and then funnel that money into exploration where we don't need to go to the market with our hand out. This is not the dilution model that so many other exploration companies have been doing over the past 30, 40 years that have scared that retail investor away, is risk off in a very risky industry.
As this is your first week as CEO, what are the first steps that you are planning? Are you looking at doing some conferences, or what are the first steps as you take the throne at ES Gold?
It's a loaded question. There's a lot to do. um, Getting fully acquainted with ES Gold and the team involved is I've been very fortunate enough to get to know them quite well already, but to understand the operations, to get ingrained with the team, see what's working, where the strengths are, and continue to exploit them. The ES Gold's been doing tremendous over the last few months. It'd be ignorant for me to get in the way of that, to really see what's going on, and then get out there, continue to market, get in front of conferences, leverage this in front of the right people, bring on the right partners, and get the right people involved to take this to the next level.
And for investors, or potential investors that are following the show today, what would you like to leave them with in closing as the new face of ES Gold?
We have catalysts to come. We have an updated PEA coming. We have an ant survey we're very excited about that will highlight exploration targets and drill targets, and production's in the horizon. We're hoping to be fully funded here for production in the very near future and producing 6 to 8 months after that. We are at the very beginning of a very exciting story and look forward to carrying it across the finish line.